Hello and welcome to the CDL Bracket Builder. We've got 2 home series left and we're going to be building a bracket alongside some special guests with the final few home series upon us. My name is Miles Ross. I'll be one of the people taking you through this one. And we're joined by a very special guest, Emily Rand, ESPN Call of Duty staff writer. Emily, welcome to the bracket building.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This should be fun.
It should be fun. It's going to be wonderful. We're joined by Nameless, analyst extraordinaire, I will say, and current champion of Contesting the Point. I'll never let you live it down. And of course, Lottie, the host of the CDL. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
I'm so good. Nameless, I know you're good because you're always having that fresh fade when you're coming on these content pieces, bro. So
always.
I already know you're feeling good.
Yeah,
super excited. And it's so nice to have you, Emily, joining us too.
Oh, thank you.
It's amazing to see a man get so many cuts during quarantine. I just don't understand. Right, let's get into this one. You can also build a bracket as well. If you go to bracket.callofdutyleague.com, do one with us. We've only got 2 events left, and we're going to get stuck into the London bracket. Right, the way this will work, I will host this, but I will pass this over to Emily and to one of our esteemed guests, who will also break down these matchups one by one. They're going to get about 30 seconds to do so. But guys, I think we should just get into this one. Emily and Lottie, I think you guys should take away match number 1. It is going to be our hosts of the home series, the London Royal Ravens, going up against the Seattle Surge. How's it going to go down?
Well, Emily, I'm going to start off by saying this. So Surge obviously haven't had the best journey of the Call of Duty League, that is for sure. And London have been a little bit up and down, but have also made waves as of recent. But they both actually faced Minnesota Rocker at one point, and Surge faced Minnesota Rocker not too long ago. And they actually had pretty much the same result, 3-2. I don't think Surge are going to go with the donut, but I also do think London Royal Ravens will take this. So what do you think? What are your opinions on it?
Yeah, actually, I'm going 3-1. I think Surge will be able to sneak a map in there. I'm not really sure what one, because I look at the Surge and I don't think it'll be S&D. Despite the fact that I think they did show a few improvements in that previously. Yeah. But yeah, I just think the Royal Ravens are a better team despite a lot of unlucky circumstances, I guess. So I'm going 3-1 Ravens.
3-1 Ravens.
I agree.
Good to me. Unlucky is definitely, I think, what the Ravens fans would call their season so far. Right, we're going to move on now. We've got our next round 1 matchup. Los Angeles OpTic Gaming going up against the Florida Mutineers. Nameless, Emily, take it away.
Emily, I'm going to be quick on this one. I think the Mutineers are going to 3-0 OpTic Gaming. They just added 2 new players to their team, and it seems kind of a tough spot to do it because the meta changed to an AR meta, and they got rid of Dashy and Chino, who are 2 ARs. And it's just 2 players that we don't know a lot about, and the Mutineers have been winning. So I'm going Mutineers 3-0. What do you think?
I am going to agree, actually, partly just because I don't know how Jaws at Warhollow are going to perform with the team. The fact that Dashy is not here is still kind of shocking to me. And I also think, regardless of whatever people say about scrims, Florida has shown up in their past events. So I think they are going to sweep this first round.
3 nada. I think there's a decent amount of consensus there, but who knows, OpTic could do something crazy on the day. Right, going down the list, up next is going to be Paris Legion, Dallas Empire, Lottie and Emily. This could be quite an open and shut case, we think.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to have to go 3-0 here, Emily. Paris Legion, yes, they did beat the Los Angeles Guerrillas this event. However, it was super close with them, and facing a powerhouse like Dallas, it's just not going to happen for me.
I'm going 3-1 because I think Paris will be able to take a map. I know it's I think they can sneak one in there. Dallas aren't always insanely clean in all of their series, but I think Dallas is the much stronger team here. So I'm going 3-1.
I'm going to go with Emily, Miles.
I like 3-1. I think Paris can upset folks. The opportunity to do so is definitely going to be there. Okay, so our last round 1 matchup before we start getting to the knockouts, it's going to be the New York Subliners, our current reigning champs, going up against the Los Angeles Guerrillas. And Nameless, Emily, if the last one was open and shut, surely this one is a little bit of the same.
I don't know. I do think New York's going to win it. Emily, do you agree with me there?
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm gonna say this. I think Guerrillas can get 2 maps. They've been good at search and destroy, and they haven't been terrible at respawn. I think Guerrillas can get 2 maps in this. What do you think?
I think Subliners will beat them on Respawn, actually. I have it 3-1, because I think Guerrillas will take the first S&D. But I think New York is, again, the better team. And I don't know. I just see them beating the Guerrillas on Respawn. But the girls will take S&D.
Yeah. I love the idea that it could be the SD that goes, but also the idea that maybe the first hard point as well, like that idea that the Subliners, their victory, it could cost them some of their strength right now. They're patting each other on the backs a little too hard, maybe, but who knows? Going into that event, it could be great. Okay, so now we're going to go into our first knockout round. It's going to be Seattle Surge going against OpTic Gaming. Again, at this point, this is definitely going to be a matchup on paper. But Lottie and Emily, what do you guys think?
You know, Emily, I'm going to open the floor to you for this first bit. I'm very intrigued.
No idea. This is going to be a mess. I think it's like, I feel like I look at something like this and I'm like, it's going to be a 3-2. I won't be shocked if it's a 3-2 either way. I'm going to give the edge to the Surge. Yeah. I have no idea. And part of that is just because, again, I haven't seen this OpTic lineup. I'm not sure what's going on with the roster changes. So I'll go with Surge because at least I've seen them, but I have no idea what's going to go on in the series. I think it's going to be pretty sloppy.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, both of them honestly are really difficult to tell how they're going to do, but OpTic having 2 major changes coming their way, so definitely the edge goes with Surge for sure.
Not an easy series to call, let's face it. That is definitely a very interesting one. Okay, down to our next knockout round game. It's going to be Paris Legion versus Los Angeles Guerrillas. We're going to be running it back. Do we think Paris can find another victory against their Los Angelian rivals?
I'll open this one to Emily as well.
Oh God, I just keep swapping back and forth on the little bracket thing. I'm like, I guess I'll give the edge to Paris because they did have the edge in this previous matchup. I put it at 3-2, despite the fact that when I look at that, I'm like, well, I do think the girls are still better on S&D, so maybe it would be a 3-2 in the girls' favor, but I'll stick with my original Paris prediction.
Oh, see, that's tough because I was going to pick Guerrillas for this one, so we got to go back and forth a little bit. I just think Guerrillas edge out Paris. I think when they play them, especially in this new meta, that they have players that are good with ARs, and I feel like they've been great at search, and there hasn't been a single mode Legion has been great at. So I think the Guerrillas will edge them out when they play each other again.
I'm going to need an answer, guys.
I was going to say, I'll defer to you on this because, like I said, I was flopping back and forth in the little thing anyway. So, and also to your point, like if it comes down to that map 5, that's the girls' game mode, right? S&D.
Yeah. Sweet.
All right. It's a 3-2 to the Guerrillas. We say adieu to Paris. Now we're on our quarterfinals matchup. We've got the London Royal Ravens going up against the Mutineers. Lottie and Emily, this is going to be the first like big heavy hitting teams now playing each other. In theory, how do you think this is going to go?
I am going to call it a Mutineers win here, but I do think it's going to be a good match. So I think it could either be 3-1 or 3-2 and pretty like decent-ish games. But what do you think, Emily?
I think it's going to be a close 3-1 in that like the respawn maps that the Mutineers win are going to be really close. But that's where we've seen, I feel, London falter. Like they get so close and then just don't actually close out the map. Yeah. So if I had to pick Royal Ravens taking a map, it would probably be S&D. But then I think Mutineers would beat them on respawn. But I think it'll be a close 3-1. Yeah.
I think I'm with you both there, guys. It's going to be heartbreak for London, as it always is as a British sports fan. But we go into our another quarterfinal matchup: Dallas Empire versus New York Subliners. Now, Nameless, this should actually be a very, very good series.
Whoa.
Yeah, this should be an incredible series. I mean, we haven't seen Empire in the new meta. We just saw New York dominate, and what we saw to New York is like, they were so dominant, like you have to almost favor them going into the series because we haven't seen Empire. So I think I have to go New York in this one in a 3-1 because if it comes down to game 5, I'd probably favor Empire.
Yeah, it's really hard to call because I haven't seen Dallas in the new meta. And I know all I know are scrim rumblings that made their way to Twitter and caught my Twitter on fire the other day. But given York's performance at this past event and how comfortable they looked, I'll agree 3-1.
3-1, 3-1, 3-1. There it is. Okay, cool. Now we have our semi-finals starting to build up. We have one more knockout round to get through. That's going to be Royal Ravens and the Surge. Do the Surge have what it takes? Is the new meta going to work out for them? Lottie, Emily, will London disappoint again?
I think London make it through. I think they do.
I think so as well. I think London are a much more well-rounded team than Surge are, and they have found something within themselves now with 0 on their team, and I feel like it works. I would definitely say London takes it. I don't know how many games Surge will manage to take. I think maybe only 1. I wouldn't push it to a game 5 personally.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I just think London are the stronger team, and when we see them falter, it's typically teams that are like we consider above them, right? Like they're trying to push towards becoming one of the teams that's like a title contender. So I think it'll be 3-1 Ravens as well.
3-1 seems fair from an event that could have been a lot more exciting. Now, it's kind of mellowing out. 3-1s and 3-0s across the board. Okay, last knockout round before we get to the semi-finals. Dallas Empire. They've just lost to the Subliners. They're feeling a little mean, but now they've got the Guerrillas. Are they going to be their punching bag, or are the Guerrillas going to surprise them?
Emily, what do you think? I think this is going to be a bloodbath.
So I don't know. I find it like kind of hard to. The Guerrillas did not look great this past weekend. I like hate to go with another 3-1 because I feel like that's getting super, super boring. But maybe Dallas are really good at S&D too.
I think it's 3-0. Yeah, I think it's
3-0. You think it's not even going to be close? All right, I'll agree with that. I can agree with that. Because again, like the Guerrillas' best game mode, Dallas is also like incredibly strong at. So.
I think 3-0 is quite safe, and now we've definitely got the kind of most concrete top 4 we could be looking at here in this event with Mutineers, Empire, Subliners, and Royal Ravens sitting in that top 4. Let's get into the first of the semi-finals now. Emily and Lottie, this is going to be the Mutineers going up against Dallas Empire. This could be a finals in any other home series. Mm-hmm. We've got it here in the semis. What do you think happens?
This is where it gets tricky because we've seen it happen this weekend, Emily, where things can swing either way. It can be a bloodbath. It may not be. I really don't know, but just going on the form of the Florida Mutineers and seeing what they can do to, what we all considered like the top 2 teams, and they've kind of asserted their dominance. I just feel like Florida are going to take it.
See, I'm torn on this because I think it's going to be a 3-2, but then I look at the Empire, and again, it comes down to the Empire's S&D versus the Florida's S&D, and I think that Empire still have a better S&D, but I also haven't seen them in this meta. And Florida has been insanely good in their like previous 2 events. So.
I think we should call on Nameless. Nameless, what do you think?
No.
Help.
Phone a friend.
No.
Help.
I want to help.
Later.
3-1 or 3-2 Mutineers. I still want to go 3-2 despite the fact that
I think
Florida to beat them.
Right.
I was going to have Empire.
We're going to go with. We've just come off another show talking about this, so we're feeling very hot on this topic. It's going to be an incredible match no matter what. We'll go 3-2 Mutineers. I put the Mutineers in the finals. We say thank you to Dallas, but close but no cigar. Now in our final semi-finals to decide who plays the Mutineers, the Subliners versus the Royal Ravens. Nameless and Emily, is it going to be back-to-back finals in New York?
There's a lot to talk about here. For me, I think it goes to a game 5. I mean, if you think back to their series last weekend, game 2 was around 11, and New York were able to edge them out and win the series. But that could have very well been a game 5. And if it goes to game 5, I think I favored the Ravens. This is so tough. Maybe Emily can sway my mind one way. What do you think?
See, this is insanely tough. It's whether you believe that somehow, despite the fact that they're not going to have a home crowd, right? Because I will say, I think if this is a LAN event, I'd favor London, just based on the fact that the entire crowd would be behind them in this situation. And if it was a 3-2, it would come down to S&D, where I still think the Ravens are really strong, despite the fact that we've seen them slip up there a few times in their previous series. I feel like I still have to go with New York, though, especially since it's online.
You know what? I agree because the Ravens haven't been able to, beat any of the top like championship teams. And I don't think that'll change right now. So I'm going to agree. I'm going to go New York in I'd say 3-1 fashion again. What do you think?
3-1.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you there, guys. 3-1. We've spending a lot of time on these good matchups, but this is it. This is now time for the finals. And I think what we'll do here is we'll give you all a chance to talk about this one because if you've worked so hard to get here, it's only right. But the Florida Mutineers versus the New York Subliners in the home series of the London Royal Ravens. Who goes the distance? We'll start with you, Lottie.
It's tough, isn't it? Because I'm pretty sure when we last saw this matchup, there was a reverse sweep that happened. So that's always tear jerking, isn't it, for the other team? But I don't know like how much prep comes into this to stop that happening again and being able to take it over the line. This is a really close call. I think I honestly could see New York taking it for a couple of reasons. I think the momentum coming in from their home series, the fact that there hasn't been a huge break in between as well, and they are a massively momentum-based team. So I'm gonna stop talking there because I'm taking up way too much time. But I do think it could be 3-2 New York.
All right, 3-2 New York. Emily, what do you think?
I'm also going 3-2 New York. The reason is not only because of the momentum thing that Lottie mentioned, but the fact that I feel like this team has been performing insanely well in scrims, right? That's all we hear about them is that if they showed up in their events like they do in scrims, the most dangerous team in scrims, they'll be lights out. And I think now that they've kind of shed that idea that, okay, we finally did show up at a LAN event, our own home event, I think now we'll see them be a lot more consistent in their online like stage performances.
I like it. Interesting.
Love
Nameless.
Love it.
I agree. I agree with both of them. I think New York is going to win for a couple reasons. Not a lot of teams have won 3 tournaments in a row. I don't think Mutineers will do it. As well as when you win a championship, you get this sense of confidence that you're doing everything right. And you continue on that role for a little bit. And I think Temp with his first championship and the rest of the squad, that they're going to be extremely confident. And when they go and play Florida again, I think they'll beat them. So I got New York winning as well.
Is this going to be a 3-2 or a 3-1 overall?
I think 3-2, but that's just me.
Yeah, 3-2. Sure.
3-2.
Miles, I want to know, do you agree with us?
Well, we'll go back to the first one. So let's go back to Royal Ravens versus Surge, right? This is what I think. No, we're not going to do that. No, it's done. It's finished. We've built the bracket. But I do agree with you on a lot of those points. And I think it's going to be very, very difficult for Florida to go back to back-to-backs. The biggest one for me there is I actually think Dallas might be the team who take everyone by storm this event. I just think that the AR meta right now, I think they've got some of the best in the league. And that squad, you can do anything with a team like that. And you think Shotzi is one of the sneakiest, most devilish players anyway. So's Illy. He's up there as well. Don't forget about Hugh. These guys are going to thrive right now when you've got a lot of space to work with for the submachine gun players. So who knows? It's going to be very, very exciting. And this is a cool bracket. I'm actually going to have to save that bad boy. But I'd love to know, again, what the fans think. Please go to bracket.callofdutyleague.com. Fill one out for the London Royal Ravens home series. And hey, if you really feel like it, go for the Toronto one as well. Roll the dice, my friends. But that was very, very cool, guys. Thank you so much for your help there. Emily, a massive thank you again for joining us. Now, let the folks know, where can they find you?
So I am on Twitter at League of Emily. I'm sorry, it's League of Legends handle. And you can find my stuff on ESPN Esports. I do every event. I do every single map in a sentence and post it afterwards. So yeah.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you again for joining us. Big thanks to Lottie. Big thanks to Nameless, guys. Now, don't forget, the London home series is literally coming up this weekend. Be sure to tune in, jump over to the Call of Duty League YouTube channel, hit that little notification bell, and we'll see you all there.